And next we have Whispir. And Whispir empowers organizations to enhance their constituent communications, customized to an individual's needs and preferences, thereby enabling organizations to maximize the effectiveness of outreach and interaction. And that essentially builds trust with their community. Whispir does this with features such as Messages, which is a user-friendly hub providing templates for text, email, and social media in just a few clicks with a drag and drop editor. Today, from Whispir, we have Chris Lindgren, Director of Channel Sales, to tell you more. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Danielle. Good afternoon. My name is Chris Lindgren, and I am the Director of Channel and Partnerships for Whispir Americas. It's truly a pleasure to be speaking with you today. And Ralph, great job. I definitely see some synergies between Whispir and Sprinklr. On a personal note, I do reside in Fort Collins, Colorado, which is typically ranked top 5 places to live by Money Magazine and other publications. And also was recently named by ELGL as one of the best places to work in state and local government. I sent you a view out my office when Jeff was doing the kickoff. So that's why people love Fort Collins. Very proud to live here as a resident, and also all the work the local community does driving citizen engagement. Today, I'd like to share with you a brief overview of Whispir, how our SaaS-based platform can help primarily local governments engage with their residents and their employees. And I do have a special offer for you at the end. Perhaps I can buy you a cup of coffee. Why don't we go ahead and jump into it? This is kind of along the lines where Ralph was going as well with Sprinklr. 96% of Americans have a cell phone. I'm sure that is not surprising to anyone. And then 18% open rate for personal emails. I checked my phone this morning, and I don't know if I should admit this or not, but on my personal email account, I have 9,000 unopened messages. So if you're relying on email alone, it's not going to get the trick done as far as communicating with your residents and your employees. On the flip side, 90% of texts are read in the first 1 to 3 minutes. So there's obviously a need, as Jeff was talking about at the beginning, a need for a digital transformation for local governments on how they communicate and how they run their operations. Our goal and our mission is increase your resident engagement while at the same time reducing the burden on your staffs. Some facts and figures. Whispir has been around since 2001. We're actually an Australian company that's publicly traded on the Australian Stock Exchange. Started off in the crisis communication space, notifying residents of severe weather issues, bushfires, but also more importantly, we helped to mobilize these emergency response crews that were responding to resolve the situation at hand. We have 2 billion interactions on an annual basis with 55 million folks in 60 countries. And then we also have 11,000 use cases. Today, I'm just going to walk you through 4 use cases, but as I walk you through kind of the examples, take a look and say, hey, I might tweak this, or I could adjust this use case and be very applicable. So there's 11,000 are across 800 customers across the world. And then from a staffing standpoint, we have 225 employees across the globe. I was employee 4 in the United States on January 1st. Now we're up to about 20. So we are growing very rapidly. And we do offer 24/7, 365 support hosted on Amazon with rock solid availability and stability. Our goal is to drive personalized messaging to citizens via one platform. You sign on the Whispir platform and you can send out a text message, a rich text. I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. Also do voice outs. We also do video calls as well. Have ties into social channels, Twitter, Facebook Messenger. In addition, I know WhatsApp's not big in the States yet, but I think it's coming based on some conversations I'm having. So instead of having somebody from the communications department sign on to Twitter, sending out a tweet, signing on to an email system, sending out an email, signing on to an SMS system, all this can be done with one platform, increasing the productivity of your staff. You know, our goal is to get the right message out at the right time via the appropriate channel with measurable actions that can be taken. What we do, a little bit more granularity. We are an automated communications workflow company. Don't let the word workflow scare you. It's just basically a series of actions or steps that can be taken in order to communicate a message. It can be triggered in a variety of ways, including a text in, a text out, and I have examples of both that I'll show when I walk through some of the use cases. Oops, sorry. Ralph, I'm a little bit jealous because one of my talking points was scan QR code. That's something that's becoming more and more popular in engaging the platform. So that's becoming something we're seeing more and more. Also engage via chatbot, email. And then our platform, one of the things we pride ourselves on is you don't have to be technical to use. It's easy to use, drag and drop templates. It's a very light lift on the IT department, if any. So you can have a communications director create the templates. You don't have to create an application. It's a very light load to get up and running and get up and running in a matter of days versus weeks by taking advantage of our design studio. We have real data driven insights in reporting that you can research and figure out which channels are being the most effective for you. And then obviously we have personalized communication to recipients. Within the platform, you can send a message to a particular demographic you're looking to reach out to, or if it's a Parks and Rec example, you can send it out to all individuals that signed up for soccer the previous year and try to market and get them to sign up for additional Parks and Rec activities. The digital transformation of local government, there's three areas I'm going to highlight today where Whispir plays very well in the community engagement, emergency and event management, as well as operational communications on communicating internally as well as externally. I realize the pothole use case has been around in state and local government space for a while. I know there's an application that addresses it specifically. We feel we have a little bit spin on it that's going to drive an asynchronous conversation and dialogue with a resident. And in this particular case, Oak Hill, Tennessee. Think of Oak Hill, Tennessee as an affluent community right outside Nashville. Very similar to like a Beverly Hills. There's a lot of country stars that live there. Miley Cyrus, Dolly Parton. And when Travis, the city manager, reached out to us, he is looking for an easy way for citizens to report an issue that they identified within their community. He didn't want an application because he is concerned on the speed of deployment, as well as maintaining it and the adoption dropping off by the residents after the first month. So he wanted like an app-like feel, which we have, but without creating an application. So in this particular case, Jerry texts the word pothole into a predefined number. Jerry gets an SMS link back. And on that, this is kind of where some of the Whispir magic starts to happen. This is so here's a little bit of the Whispir magic. This is Jerry, our resident. He gets a link into an SMS text that takes him to the Whispir platform. And this is where the design studio that I was talking about, you can create the Oak Hill branding that's all drag and drop technology, report an issue, location of the issue is popped up automatically via Whispir. It knows where Jerry's at. It gets his coordinates. In this particular case, Jerry can submit photos. He submits it back into the Whispir platform, gets a response back saying, Jerry, thank you very much. Appreciate your input. We'll get somebody out to resolve the issue. So that's an example of asynchronous dialogue that goes back and forth with driving engagement. Next example I have is crisis management. Once again, this is where really got started in Australia. And in this particular example, I'm going to watch the phone on the right. I'm going to click it, and you'll see that Jerry gets notified. He gets an SMS link, and then he gets that rich text form. I'll pause it, and this from Whispir City. what should he do? So this is the benefits of a rich text microform that's telling them to get to higher ground, know your escape routes, flooding in the area, evacuate immediately. Then going to continue it a little bit. And then Jerry can go back and acknowledge it, saying, I'm safe, I'm good to go. There's no additional assistance that I need. So that's an example of if he responded, I need assistance, we can send out emergency support to go help him and make sure he's safe. Final example I have today, and honestly, I debated if I put something regarding COVID in here, but it's still relevant. This is an example of an internal communication that can go out. And in this particular example, we talked about email at the beginning, not getting very high response rate. This is an email example you designed in the Whispir Design Studio, where you can have images and rich text. And in this particular case, this is where one of our clients in Singapore is changing their work from home protocol. And so they communicate the message out, once again, created with the drag and drop. And they ask, how do you want to be communicated to? Do you want to be reached out via a Zoom meeting, email, call? You can select all three. This way, the staffing within the municipality can go back and communicate with the folks and get the message to them via the right channel and how they want to be communicated to. Final slide, some closing thoughts. Why Whispir is different. Once again, we are one platform, many channels. You can curate the message once on Whispir and then have it go out to multiple channels. We're no application platform. We're not in the app development business. With our drag and drop technology and our template studio, you can deploy in days and not weeks. Do offer 24/7 support, very affordable. We encourage, especially in the local government space, to start small, start with one use case and expand out from there. And what we've quickly found is you start with one use case, the departments will figure out other adoptions, how to deploy, how to communicate with their residents. And we integrate very well with existing systems, existing CRM systems, also Salesforce, ServiceNow. So integration is a critical aspect. And then here's the offer I was talking about. I know there's certain guidelines, and if those guidelines or restrictions, we're not able to accept this offer, please disregard, but offering anyone that's interested in a demo to reach out to me at clindgren@whispir.com. I'm happy to answer any questions. I truly appreciate the time today and pleasure talking with you. And I do apologize on the difficulties not being able to share at the beginning of the presentation. Danielle, I'll turn it back over to you.
Great, thanks, Chris. No worries. I have a quick question though. So you've done extensive work in the communication space. What kind of trends are you seeing?
Danielle, what we're seeing is kind of the trend I talked about at the beginning, with not only individuals, but residents getting away from email and looking for a multi-channel or digital engagement experience. SMS is becoming more and more popular, also tying into Twitter and Facebook Messenger. That's what I'm seeing. And then kind of alluded to the fact during the presentation that I'm having more and more conversations with state and local government leaders that are interested in WhatsApp and how they might be able to take advantage of WhatsApp or leverage WhatsApp as to engage their residents.